مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of grade 9, I welcome you once again. Today, inshallah, we are going to talk about Module 7C, Vocabulary and Grammar, page 79. Our objectives today are 1. To apply forming the antonyms of 10 words by adding a negative prefix on and this to the given words correctly, and 2. To identify the use of comparative and superlative by reading the given examples and answer the questions. Let's start with exercise B. Find the opposite of the words in the box and complete the table. Here we have 10 words. We need to categorize them under on and this. As we said, on and this brings or gives us the opposite of the word. Let's start with words that takes on. The first word is healthy. Healthy becomes unhealthy. Next we have suitable. Suitable becomes unsuitable. After that we have natural. Naturals become unnatural. Then we have agree. Then we have necessary. It becomes unnecessary. Friendly becomes unfriendly. And finally, certain becomes uncertain. Now we move to words that take this. The first one is appear, becomes disappear. Next we have agree, it becomes disagree. After that we have advantage, it becomes disadvantage. And finally, like as a verb becomes dislike. Now let's move to the comparative and superlative. Now let's discuss the difference between comparative, superlative, and using as. Salim is taller than Ali. Rashid is the tallest student. Nasser is as tall as Mubarak. In the first sentence, we have comparative, we used than. In the second sentence, we have superlative. Rashid is the tallest student. No other student is taller than Rashid in the class. While in the third student, both Mubarak and Nasser are equal. Let's talk now about a longer adjective like expensive. The case here in expensive, we don't add er to the adjective, we put more or less. For example, Lexus is more expensive than Toyota. Once again, it's a comparative because we have than and we used more. Number 2, Bugatti is the most expensive car. This sentence is clearly a superlative. We used the most before the long adjective. And JMC is as expensive as Chevrolet. As we can see, Chevrolet has the same price value as GMC, so we used as with no addition to the adjective itself. If we have an adjective that ends with a stressed consonant after a vowel like big, thin, and so on, here we double the last consonant, as the case in the first and the second sentence. The elephant is bigger than the lion. Here it's a comparative, we doubled the G. Dinosaurs were the biggest animals. It's a superlative, we have the and est, and also we doubled the G. The dog is as big as the wolf. So now you know when we use as means equality, so we don't do anything to the adjective itself. Here another case of spelling rules. If the adjective ends with y, we remove the y and replace it by I. For example, Nasser is happier than Talib. Comparative, Salim is the happiest student. Superlative, Saleh is as happy as Yusuf. Equality. Now let's open our student's book, page 79. Exercise 3. Comparisons. Look at the examples and answer the questions. Baines is healthier now. Life in the city is more stressful than life in the country. The most difficult part was telling his friends and family. This is the happiest time of his life. Which of the examples above include adjectives in the comparative form? The answer is A and B. Adjectives in the superlative form. The answer is C and D. Which word do we usually use after adjectives in the comparative form? The answer is than. Before adjectives in the superlative form, the answer is the. Exercise B. Read the example and decide what it means. Choose A, B, or C. His new job isn't as stressful as his old job. What does it mean? His new job is more stressful. His old job was more stressful. The two jobs have the same amount of stress. The answer is B. His old job was more stressful. Exercise C. Read the example. Which of the sentences that follow are true and which are false? I think golf is less exciting than football. It means that football is more exciting than golf, but tennis is the least exciting of the three. So, number one here we have football, next we have golf, and three we have tennis. So, number one, football is more exciting than golf and tennis. The answer is true. Tennis isn't as exciting as golf and football. Also, the answer is true. Golf is the most exciting of the three sports. Obviously, the answer is false. Now let's answer exercise D. Number one. Now let's answer exercise D. Complete with the correct form of the adjectives in brackets. Add the where necessary. 1. Since I started going to the gym, I don't feel as exhausted as I used to. You remember that when we use as the adjective remains as it is. As exhausted as. I am active and feel energetic than before. Here we have than. It means it's a comparative. And active is a long adjective, so becomes I am more active and feel more energetic. Number 2. The town I live in is quiet and peaceful than the city. Once again, it's a comparative. Quiet can be both a short and a long adjective, so we can say quieter or more quiet. And peaceful is a long adjective, it becomes more peaceful than the city. Life there might not be as exciting as life in the city. Exciting between as and as remains as it is, but it certainly is little stressful. Little becomes less in comparative. For me, the city is bad place a person can have. The sentence is a superlative, so bad becomes the worst. My friend Jack is outgoing person I know. The sentence is also a comparative. The sentence is also a superlative. My friend Jack is the most outgoing person I know. He has many friends than me. Many in the comparative form becomes more. I am not as good as he is. As good as good remains as it is between as and as. And but I'm really trying to change and become warm and friendly than I am. Warm becomes warmer and friendly becomes friendlier or more friendly. And by this, dear students, we have come to the end of our session for today. Until we meet next time, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.